40 years ago in 1975, Volkswagen released a model that would have untold revelations for the rest of the category. They released the Mark I Golf GTI at the Geneva Motor Show in March. It wasn't much. It had 80 kilowatts and 140 newton meters, and it was driving the front wheels. It wasn't exactly what you'd call a driver's machine, but it had only 810 kilos to lob around, and it was basically the definition of fun. It was cheap to buy, cheap to insure, and it was actually affordable enough for your mid-20-year-old boy racer to actually have some fun at an affordable price without killing himself. But now, fast forward 40 years, and you can buy a Golf for more than R500,000, and modern hot hatches are running rampant on the Nürburgring, and they're destroying supercars left, right, and centre. Take, for example, the new Honda Civic Type R, lapping the Nürburgring quicker than a McLaren SLR. So, yeah, nowadays, hot hatch isn't quite what it used to be. So, is there any hope for what once was, for the fun that everyone knew from the Mark I Golf? Something that's affordable, easy to run, easy to maintain, and bucket loads of fun at speeds that aren't going to kill you. There is. It's called the Suzuki Swift Sport. Suzuki Swift Sport uses the M16A 1.6 litre engine. Previous generation it developed 92 kilowatts, but they've upped it now. It generates 100 kilowatts on the dot and 160 newton meters. Drives the front wheels through a 6-speed manual gearbox. No limited slip diff or anything like that, so it's got an open front differential. But the crux of the Suzuki Swift Sport is the fact that it weighs so little. As Colin Chapman once said, simplify then add lightness. It's a principle that Lotus used for many, many years, and to this day it's what makes Lotus vehicles such great drivers' cars. They handle superbly purely because they weigh so little. Whereas the original Mark I Golf GTI weighed just over 800 kilos, the Suzuki Swift Sport weighs 1,045 kilos or thereabouts, giving it almost identical power to weight ratio of the original Golf GTI. You couple that with a short wheelbase and some fantastic chassis balance, and you've got the makings of a really, really fun car. It's amazing to see the recipe for small, fast fun hasn't changed much in 40 years. Unfortunately, Volkswagen no longer do it. Even the Polo GTI has become a bit heavy, and it's now chasing power rather than outright driving dynamics. Suzuki Swift Sport, though, they've just hit the nail on the head. It's unbelievable how a small car can be this comfortable, but I think it's because of the lightweight. They've just been able to focus on precisely what they need to do. They've been able to make sure that they work on the right things, getting the suspension to be pliant and comfortable, yet supporting the car so well, not that there's much of it to support. And I think that's what makes this just so right, is that it's so balanced. With only 100 kilowatts though, you're not going to get up to massive amounts of speed. But the thing is, you can have so much fun even at slow speeds. With that fine chassis balance I was talking about, you can really chuck it into corners. You can pretty much oversteer at will. You tip it into a corner, you get your balancing in right into the corner, just dab on the brakes, you come off the throttle and the back starts to step out. It's so simple, it's so easy to control, and it's got such balance that it defies logic how much fun can be had in such a small car without doing ludicrous speeds. Everyone nowadays is chasing the power wars, and they're chasing who can go fastest and who can do the quickest 0 to 100. The Suzuki will never do that. It does 0 to 100 in around 9.5 seconds. But it's not about the 0 to 100. It's about when you chuck it through the corners and you can just play with it. It just dances with you. There's nothing quite like it. I mean, how can they make such a small car so much fun? And why can't more manufacturers make small cars like this? Against rival cars like the Chevrolet Sonic RS, the Opel Corsa Sport, both of which have force-fed turbocharged engines, this somehow manages to keep it up. I think this M16A engine has some degree of black magic in it, because Suzuki have managed to do wonderful things. I would love to see what this could do down at the coast. The dense air there would be absolutely magical, because even this thin air up here, it's just sublime. This engine, it just revs out. It might not be powerful, it might not be turbocharged, but when it sings all the way up to 7,200 RPM, who cares? For the first couple of years that the Suzuki Swift Sport was on the market, it didn't really have any competitors. However, in recent times, there has been a couple of competitors arriving on the market, on the scene. Last year, the Chevrolet Sonic RS came into the game. That features a 1.4 litre turbocharged engine, 104 kilowatts and 200 newton meters, but the fight is closer than you might realize. If you want to actually see what that feels like against this, you can have a look at our comparison test that we did last year. You can find the link for that in the description below. Another one of the competitors that's come out recently is the Hyundai i20 Sport, based on the new i20. You can also read our review of that down in the comments below. The Mark 1 Golf has long since come and gone, and in its place we're left with a bunch of high-tech super hatches, hot hatches that have enough power to give executive saloons M3s, M4s a run for their money. But there is still fun to be had in the small car segment. The Suzuki Swift Sport offers that. It's the kind of car where you can have fun, but it's got just the right amount of power, where you can have fun, but you don't have to worry about killing yourself. It's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to buy in the first place, nor will it cost you an arm and a leg to insure and to run. It's fairly frugal too. I mean, this car uses just over 6.5 litres of petrol, and that's while we've been tracking it. That's 6.5 litres per 100 Ks. So if only more manufacturers could do this, it's proof that you don't have to be complicated to have fun. You don't have to put in massive amounts of power to have fun. And you know, why do we love cars? We don't love cars because we go fast. We love cars because we have fun doing it.